Okay, hello there kids. Today we are going to talk about fractions. What do you mean by fractions? Fractions are basically, it refers to part of something, part of something whole. Okay, so example, a whole pizza. If you take a part of it, let's say you ate 2 slices, you ate a fraction of it. Okay, this is a fraction of the entire pizza. If someone ate another slice, this is also a fraction of the entire pizza. Okay, so basically a fraction refers to something whole. Now, how do fractions look like? Okay, so for one example of fraction is, let's say, 1 over 2. 1 over 2 means that out of 2 parts, 1 is used or shaded, or in whatever situation it may be. For example, a pizza, half of it is eaten, diba? Let's say 3 over 4. 3 over 4, ibig sabihin, out of 4 parts, out of a whole, no? One whole. And then 4 parts yan. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 are basically used, or in this case, for formality, 3 parts are actually shaded. Okay? Kasi it depends nga. Kung sa pizza pa yan, 3/4 of the pizza has already been eaten. Okay? So it basically depends on the situation, on how you apply fractions. So that is basically how you apply or determine fractions, no? Ngayon, ano nga ba ang mga basic parts ng fraction? Let's take 1/2 again. 1 over 2. Okay. The value above is called a numerator. Just to let you know. And the value at the bottom is called a denominator. Okay, so sa denominator kasi, for our denominator, it basically refers to the total count or units present. So for example, dito, tingnan nyo. You have this 2. So there are total of 1, 2 units present. Dito naman sa 4. Out of, meron tayong total 1, 2, 3, 4 total spaces or units. Okay, so that's what you mean by the denominator. And ang numerator naman is basically somehow the shaded part. No, I don't want to describe it as the shaded part. Pero for formality, yes. The shaded part, basically. Pero depende nga, like what I've said earlier, it may be referring to a pizza, it may be referring to your room, it may be being referred to as something else, no? Land area ba or whatever. Pero in this example natin ngayon, shaded part na lang. We can say that it is basically the shaded part. Okay, numerator at saka denominator natin. Okay, there are cases that a figure, by the way, hindi lang yan circle ha, it can also be expressed as any shape basically. So let's say you have a let's say you have a square. Bakit nagka-cut? Sorry. Okay. Let's say you have a rectangle. So, dapat equal yan ha. When you are talking about these parts, dapat equal talaga yan. It should be equal. Hindi pwede yung division nyo is ganito. It cannot be like this. You have 1, 2 parts. No. They should be equally divided. So, dapat sa gitna talaga. Okay? Pwede rin yan sa square. Or, nagka-cut talaga. Sorry. Okay, square, rectangle, depende. But the important part is that you have to deal with the denominator nga. So since it is 2, dapat 2 parts lang. Again, there should be equal parts, no? Dapat equal. So next naman is 4. So basically you have to subdivide this into 4 equal parts. It can be divided this way. Pwedeng ganyan. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or pwede rin ganito. It depends how you want to subdivide them as long as they are equal. Okay? So shading this other shape, no? We have 1 out of 2. Dito naman sa next example natin, 3 out of 4. So that's 1, 2, 3 out of 4. So ganun lang. Okay, so if you're concerned yung kanina, what if it's in a different shape? Yung same kanina nga. I mean, in a different manner ang pag-shade sa kanya. Ang pag-subdivide pala. Kunwari ganito. Same pa rin. It says 3 out of 4, so you need to shade 3 out of 4. Okay, so ganun lang yung pag-express niya. Okay. So just to let you know that there are times that fractions can also be, they may have different values for numerator and denominator, but they are actually the same. What do you mean by that, Teacher Mark? Okay, so for example, ang 1 over 2 is actually the same as 2 over 4. And 2 over 4 is actually the same as 3 over 6. Now, i-explain ko kung paano sila naging the same. Okay, I'll try to draw 3 equal rectangles. Okay, just to show you. Okay, so for example, dito, we now have 3 units. For our 3 fractions over here, we have 1/2, 2 over 4, and 3 over 6. So we will take this fraction for our 1 over 2. We will take this fraction as for 2 over 4. We'll also take this fraction as 3 over 6. Now, again, yung sinabi ko sa inyo, 2 units, so dapat same talaga ang pag-divide ninyo. Okay? When you're going to split them, dapat same talaga. Okay. So, dito naman sa next, you have 4. So, dapat 4 din ang spaces na gagawin ninyo. 1, 2. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. The same lang din sa taas, 1, 2. Kasi dalawa man. Dito naman sa baba ngayon is 6. Okay. Okay. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't worry about the partition because the book already provided partitions for you. So, all you have to do ngayon is just to apply, no? So then again, I was telling you that 1/2 is the same as 2 over 4 and 2 over 4 is just the same as 3 over 6. Okay? And I'm gonna prove you that they are just the same. Okay? Shade natin ngayon ang 1 over 2, which means out of 2 units, I'll shade 1 part. Okay? So, dito naman sa baba ngayon, 2 over 4. Out of 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, I am going to shade how many? 2. Okay, kasi 2, oh, di ba? 2 over 4. So, that's 1, 2. Okay. Dito naman ngayon sa 3 over 6, out of, since meron tayong 6, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of 6, I am going to shade 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, if you notice, no, look at this point. Okay? Diyan yung part that they are shaded equally. And the other side remains blank. Okay? So, this is what I meant by 1/2 and 2/4 and 3/6 are actually just the same. 1 over 2 and 2 over 4 and 3 over 6 are just equal or the same. Okay, so that's basically for your first page activity, no? Also, this can actually be expressed din sa bar graph, no? As a bar graph. So for example, so still taking the given examples nga, no, 1/2, 2 over 4, 1 over 2, 2 over 4, and 3 over 6, express ko ngayon sila dito. Okay. So, as a bar graph naman ngayon. So, you have your details here. Out of this one whole, at the center is our 1/2. Out of these 4 units, they are subdivided into 4 parts. 1/4, 2 over 4, and 3 over 4. The same goes for sa next example natin, which is 1 over 6. Parang parts nila yan. Just like earlier. No, may mga parts sila dito. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So, in this case, no? This is actually a very easy activity because all you have to do, what the book is asking you is to identify which fractions are equivalent. What you need to do here is to find a part where all 3 meet. Okay? Dapat lahat in each line, dapat there are 3 values that meet along a straight line. For example, for 1/6, do you see any fractions along 1/6? Do you see a fraction along 1/4, other fractions? Do you see other fractions along 5/6? No. But what you can basically see is a straight line that has all 3 fractions. And along that line, you have 1/2, 1 over 2, you have 2 over 4, and you have 3 over 6 are equivalent fractions. What do you mean by equivalent? Ibig sabihin, the same. Okay? The same ang fractions natin. They are all the same in terms of value. Okay. So, ngayon naman, for your page 163, this is actually like giving the equivalent of a fraction kanina. So, let's say, for example, you have, I'll do number 1 for you, okay? Page 163, letter C, number 1. You have 4 over 8. 4 over 8 equals 20 over blank. Okay. So, what we're doing here is basically making them equal. Making these 2 fractions, 1, 2 fractions equal or the same. So, paano natin gagawin yan? Okay, for this one, I'm going to use a technique and you need your multiplication skills for this. Okay, so if you notice, 4 is paired to 20, correct? So, what did you multiply with 4? That will give you 20. What will you multiply with 4? That will give you 20. Okay, question ko yan. So, if you memorize your multiplication table, you will be able to do this. That's 4 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20. Which means if you multiplied 5 to 4, you should also multiply it to your denominator. Okay? Kasi ganyan yan. Dapat balance tayo eh. What you multiply with your numerator, you should also multiply it with your denominator. So in this case, since you multiplied 5 with our numerator, we should also multiply 5 with our denominator. Okay? And knowing your multiplication skills, 8 times 5 will give us 40. So which means our answer here is 40. Okay, sige lang. I'll help you with this one. Number 1 yan. Number 2. One more example. Try nyo lang. Okay? So, number 2 naman, you have 3 over 7 equals blank over 28. So, this is just the same. Parehas pa rin. It's just that dito, iba na yung given. Yung given naman dito ngayon is our denominator na. Okay. So, doing the same exact thing, Since 28 is paired with 7, so ganyan lang gagawin natin. Take 7. What did you multiply with 7? To give us 28. Knowing your multiplication table, so dapat nga alam nyo, because if you do not know your multiplication table, then you have to skip count itong process na to. Wala tayong choice. So 7 times blank will give us 28. So the answer here is 4. Since you multiplied our denominator by 4, you should also multiply our numerator by 4. And 3 times 4 will give us 12, which means our final answer here is 12 over 28. Okay, so ganun lang yung sa letter C. Same page, letter D. Anong gagawin natin dito? Basically, parang given talaga yung sagot natin. We basically just keep count the numerator and the denominator. Let's say, for example, for number 1, 1 over 5 is equivalent to blank over 10, which is equivalent to 3 over blank, which is equivalent to 4 over blank, and so on. So, I'm not gonna include the last part na. So, ganyan lang. Skip count. 5, 10, 15, 20. Skip count 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so basically skip count lang yan. Sa next numbers, ganun din. They skip count. Each, starting from the given fraction. Skip counting lang yung gagawin nyo dyan sa page 163. Okay? Okay, so for page 164 naman, I want you to skip that for now kasi I'm just gonna send you another video. Okay? I'll send you a different video for that on how to simplify fraction. Kasi if you're just going to follow the example, it will be very hard for you, especially for numbers mga 9, number 10, number 15, and such. Okay, that will be very hard for you. But doing this, again, you really need your multiplication skills. Kasi kung wala kayong multiplication skills, hindi nyo memorize yung multiplication table ninyo for 164, then you will have a hard time doing this. Okay? For 164, skip for now. But I'm just gonna send you a different video kasi may topic na yan kami dyan sa grade 4. Okay? So, going to 165. 165. Okay. So, identifying which fraction is greater or smaller. Which one is greater or smaller than the other one. Okay. For page 165 to page 166. Okay. Ganun lang yan. So, it's actually very easy, no? Kasi since examples dito are compared to the same denominator. For example, 3 over 4 and 1 over 4. If you notice that our denominators are the same. Since our denominators are the same, the greater value belongs to the greater numerator, which is in this case is 3 over 4. And the smaller value is 1 over 4. Kasi i-compare nyo lang yan ang numerator nila since they have the same denominators. Okay, this only applies if the denominators are the same. Kasi kung hindi the same ang denominators nila, then there is a different story for that. Okay? Now, ganyan na kadali ha. So for example, bigyan ko na kayo ng example dito. Okay, so for example dito, sasabihin ko or you might ask me, Teacher Mark, why are you shading them? Why are you skipping parts? Okay, so kasi nga sa books nyo ganun din eh. Nag-i-skip din ng parts eh. So anyway, this is just an example. So knowing our denominator here is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's over 4 as well. Okay. So shaded part natin. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Again, having our denominators the same, so determining which is greater or smaller now refers to our numerator. So you can now say that 3/4 is greater than 2 over 4. And writing it the other way around, 2 over 4 is smaller than 3 over 4. Okay? So, ganun lang yung paggawa dyan. Dito naman ngayon sa page 167, skip this. I'm going to make a different value, a different technique for this. I'll just send you a video again. Okay? Kasi humahaba na talaga yung recording natin. Okay? Kasi nga, like what I've said, you have a long topic ngayon sa math niya. Okay, so ganun lang muna. I think I'm gonna stop here kasi yung the rest of the videos, I'm just gonna send you examples. Okay? So, ganun lang. Stop na muna kayo dito. That's for until page 166. I'll just send you another video for that.